I'm just like, bro, I'm like over here about to die and y'all ain't texting me back. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. If you guys are new to my channel, I make a lot of creepy and spooky paranormal related videos, and I am back again with another one. Today I am actually going to be doing a story time, mostly because I've been wanting to tell this story for a very long time. I just never really got around to it, so here we are. Anyway, as you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to talk about the time that I literally felt super unsafe and haunted in one of my very first college apartments. So I know that some of my friends watch my YouTube videos, like some of like my real life friends and maybe just anyone else who talks to me watch my YouTube videos. They know this story because I've mentioned it like several times on like other social media platforms and also like just conversations. But y'all are gonna hear it again because not everyone heard it, and I plan on going into more detail. So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to hear it again, I'm not gonna be offended if you guys click out, but leave a thumbs up because it's a great story. I'm gonna stop babbling and I'm just gonna get right into the video. So this had probably happened like sophomore year of college, and I don't really want to go into too much detail as to how I got to this apartment, but I'm gonna leave it very short and brief. Basically, I had to take a semester off. I had some financial issues, and I had to work a semester instead of being in school. So when I came back during the second half of the year. So I don't know how it works for every university, but for my university, it's winter term or spring term or whatever. So I came back in spring term, and by then I couldn't live with my original roommates who were my friends at the time. Another story time for another time. I couldn't live with them because obviously they had a roommate already, so I had to get a new roommate, and I was assigned to people I had no idea of. Now, y'all, these people are a horror story all in themselves, but I'm not gonna get into that because I'm gonna get mad. But basically, I was assigned to 3 girls. It was a full house was what we call it. But which that just means is that it's like everyone is like occupying the space, so there was like a full apartment with 4 girls living in it, and then it was 2 bedrooms. And I remember just that first week was the hardest week I have ever experienced, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that A, I was new to their house. They had their own like set of rules. B, I was a lot younger than them, so well, not a lot, but if you kind of like consider the college status and like how college works, you're like between like 18 and 22, 23. I'm like finishing off. I'm 22, by the way. Fun fact. If you guys didn't know, I'm 22. Anyway, but like at the time, I was only maybe 19 or 20, maybe just turned 20, and all my roommates were graduating that semester. So they were all really close. I don't really know why that's relevant to the story, but it actually does come back together later on, I guess, because it made me feel really shitty about what happened. So yeah, guys, it was a weekend, and I remember that they all were getting dressed and they were going out to some club, and I was just kind of like not really, I just wanted them to leave because then I was gonna have my friends over. And so they left. My friends came over, and then when they left, I went to my room at around like, I would say 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then I was just gonna like unwind. And so I get in my bed, and here's the thing, this is like one of the very first signs for me personally that something is really wrong. I feel like there's a negative energy, and I felt a very, very, very strong negative energy in my room. It was to the point where I felt scared just getting out of bed and turning on a light or turning off a light or going somewhere. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Maybe I'm just fucking crazy, but like it's when the energy in like anywhere you're at is so immensely negative and so strongly negative that you feel like you're not alone. You feel like somebody's in there, and that's exactly how I felt. I felt like there was at least 1 or 2 people in my room, and there was no one in there. Nobody was home. It was just me, and it was just, that was the very first thing of that single night, guys. Of that single night. We're not even at the juicy stuff yet. Okay, let's get to it. After that, I just remember kind of trying to calm myself down because I don't know if you guys seen any of my other videos when I kind of talk about my own paranormal experiences, but I feel like I get them a lot. Like, I'm prone to experiencing stuff like this and prone to picking up on negative energy. And at this point in my life, I kind of was starting to ignore it. I was trying to force myself to ignore it and, like, think about other things. So I did what any 19, 20-year-old would do. I opened my laptop and put Netflix on, and I watched Bob's Burgers. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on this shit, and then I'm gonna go to sleep because I ain't letting all this crap get to me. And then I feel like because I did that, I made everything so much more worse. I don't know what it is, but I honestly felt like in this apartment that I was like living at the time, I felt like whatever was there, whenever I would ignore it, it wouldn't go away. It would become more aggressive and more kind of like bothersome. Like I literally felt like they were trying for me to like pay attention to them, and it was just so freaking weird. So it had to have been like 3:30 when I decided that, okay, now it's time to like actually go to sleep. And so I turned off my nightstand light. The nightstand light wouldn't go off after I like, turn the switch off. It wouldn't go off at all. I literally had to unplug it to get it to go off. And then after that, the lights, like the next day or like whatever, the lights were working the regular way. But that isn't the creepiest part. So I'm laying in the dark with Netflix still playing in the background. And then I just hear a boom, like a straight up boom, like something fell from the ceiling and it shattered on the ground. And I knew exactly what it was. It was our headlight. It was like the light that is like the only light in our room. It fell on the ground and shattered completely. I was so afraid, guys. I couldn't even scream. That's how scared I was. I literally froze up and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? We haven't had problems with it at all. I remember my roommate saying that was completely weird and random because they haven't had any issues with it since they moved in, which would be back in August. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like that was terrifying. So I remember sitting in the dark, I plugged my nightstand back in and I turned that on, and I just saw the pieces of the glass just shattered all over the place. And I was like, my heart was racing at this point because I felt like whatever was in the room was closing in on me, and I felt like I was going to be attacked. I know that sounds probably crazy to people who don't believe in the paranormal, but if you do believe in the paranormal and you've experienced it, then you know what I'm talking about, where you feel like whatever is near you is coming closer to you and is like trying to invade your privacy and your personal space. And that's exactly how I felt. I was like, something bad is going to happen and I'm scared. So I remember wrapping myself in the covers. I don't know why that's like a comfort thing and why people do that, but I did that. I wrapped myself in the covers and I just got on my phone and I started texting my friend. I was like, I'm so terrified right now. They weren't awake, unfortunately. I'm just like, bro, I'm like over here about to die and y'all ain't texting me back. But they weren't awake, and I kind of just like try to keep myself busy on my phone, scroll through Facebook. And then I kept hearing noises. I kept hearing like thumps in like the living room area. I kept hearing things being moved around, and I was like, oh my goodness. For a quick second, I thought that my roommates were home, but they weren't. And my heart was already like in my freaking stomach. I don't even know how I got through that night, to be honest with you, because that's not even the worst. So after a couple of minutes, it did stop. It stopped for like a good 2 minutes. And that felt like a century, especially when you're scared. That kind of shit like lingers longer than it should. And I was just like, I need to get out of here. I just don't know how, because I feel like if I even move, something is gonna grab me. And it was just very scary. I know that it might not seem like I'm genuinely scared, but like this is kind of how I deal with like this story and what happened, because it was so terrifying. But as I'm thinking of this plan to leave, from the corner of my eye, I see something on my roommate's side of the room, right? Her bed is a mess because she didn't sleep on it, so she used it as like storage, right? So like she had, I don't know, her books on her bed, she had her book bag on her bed, she had clothes on her bed. Point is, there was shit on the bed, like whatever. And I heard something like rummaging over on the bed, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then I'm trying to logically think, like, maybe there's like a rodent or something in the house, right? And I'm like, I don't know what's scarier, a ghost or a freaking rat or like a mouse in the house. And so I kind of hoped it was a mouse. It wasn't. So I'm just like looking at it while also trying to look at my phone and keep myself busy. And guys, the freaking book bag on her bed flew off her bed and onto the center of the ground where the shattered glass was. Flew off, guys. It made no sense. I try to rationalize it, and people are like, are you sure it just wasn't on the edge of the bed? Are you sure it wasn't like near the corner to where it could just roll off? No. No, the fuck it wasn't. It was not. It was in the center of the bed, and even if it did somehow roll off, A, what pushed it? And B, How could it roll off with that force? It was literally like thrown on the floor, guys. I don't know how to explain what I saw. I don't know what to think of it. Even to this day, I don't even... Talking about it kind of brings back the memory of it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, and plus, the other thing adding on to that was that her book bag was full. It was full of paper and textbooks and things inside of it. So it's not like... It was like a light book bag that could have just like fell off because the AC or like the heat was on. That wasn't the case. It was a heavy book bag that literally flew from the bed to the ground. Also, keep in mind that our beds are lofted because of just, it's a college thing. If you guys are in college, you know what I'm talking about. They loft your bed to like give you more space. So it was lofted and the fucking shit fell off. That's part 2. Now, you guys want to know the icing on the cake of this terrible and scary story? So, my roommate was a clutterfuck of a person. I don't even feel bad for saying that. It's true. She was. I was the neat one. She was the messy one. And she had a long, like, body length mirror that you can get at, like, Target. And she had it against her side of the wall. And right after the book bag, like, flew off, I remember calling my friend. She was still awake. And the friend that I texted before was sleeping. But they live in the same apartment and they live next door. I remember calling my friend. And as I'm dialing her number... The fucking, like, full body length mirror falls forward and shatters all over the floor. Shatters all over the floor, guys. Now, you're probably wondering, well, there's got to be some kind of explanation for that. There wasn't. There wasn't. And the craziest part is I've had those mirrors before. Granted, they're not the most expensive mirrors, but they don't break that easily. I've dropped my mirror before. It never shattered like that. The way that mirror fell was that it was force dropped, and it was like somebody was pushing it down to scare the fuck out of me, and with the intentions of breaking the mirror. I literally, guys, when I tell you I literally started crying, I dropped my phone and started crying. I'm not even kidding. I remember my phone was ringing, and I hear my friend talking. I'm gonna call her, I don't know, like, Adrian. I'm gonna call her Adrian. I hear Adrian talking on the phone like, hello, Erica, hello, you okay? And I'm just over here crying, like horrifically crying. And I remember after that happened, I grabbed my phone and I grabbed my book bag and I ran. Guys, I'm not even kidding. I literally ran out of my house. Didn't even think twice about it. Grabbed my keys, ran out of my house. I didn't even come back for a couple days. Like, I only came back to change and stuff because of how terrified I was. That situation, oh my goodness, it was so scary. So if you guys are interested in, like, what happened afterwards with my roommates, they blamed me for everything. Literally everything. It was my fault that the fucking fixture on the ceiling fell and broke because, you know, I'm 5'4", and the ceiling is, like... I don't know, 7-8 feet high. I don't freaking know. So clearly, you know, I'm responsible for going up there and pulling it down. I'm looking at mine. That's why I'm looking over there. And breaking it. That's my fault, right? So they blame me for that. She blamed me for her mirror breaking. And something in her book bag was damaged from the drop. So that was great. But yeah, I was blamed for everything. So that's like the icing on the freaking shitstorm cake. I still to this day kind of wonder why that happened or who was messing with me that way, because that was super intense even for me. I've had some pretty crazy paranormal experiences where I literally feel like something terrible is gonna happen to me, where it gets to the point where I feel like their energy and their power is just getting stronger, where like they could reach out and touch me and hurt me. So yeah, guys, I have lots of stories like this. If you guys like this story, please let me know in the comments below, and if you want to hear another one, I will totally do that. So I hope you guys know that I'm not making this up. I really don't get anything out of talking about this except probably a little bit of embarrassment, because it kind of is embarrassing to know that, like, literally I ran out of my apartment because of a ghost. So yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It'll help me out and support me and let me know that you guys actually like my content. Also, please hit the subscribe button to become a member of the Ghosty fam. I am so happy that you guys are here, honestly. I don't take my time out enough to tell you that. I started up again with about 600 and now I'm like at almost 750. That's insane for considering just the small amount of time I've been back. I really do appreciate you all, so thank you for subscribing and sticking around for me. Also, hit the notification bell to be notified when more videos upload. I don't know how factual that is, if that really works, if you are really notified when I upload, but we're gonna try it together because that's just, I love you guys. That's all that I have for you guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. Stay cool, stay spooky, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.